Well, hello. Good afternoon and welcome to another edition of Implementing Fine Arts into the Daily Routine. I'm your host, Jordan Amadeus Pleiades van der Beek, and today we are discussing perspective, or if you prefer, the ability to make two-dimensional items seem closer or further away. Draw! Hi guys, welcome back to Draw with Jordan. I'm Jordan, you're awesome, and we're gonna draw some stuff. I hope you're staying healthy, washing your hands and all that, but while you're stuck in your house with nothing to do, let's draw some stuff. I'm thinking perspective things. Let's be honest, drawing things is fun. Drawing flat things is boring, so let's make it not boring by making it three-dimensional with perspective.
Epic voiceover time! Observe the common tissue box. Yes, technically it's in perspective because it's away from the wall, but we can only see two dimensions of the box, its height and width. However, there are a few things we can do to make it look three-dimensional and show that illustrious third side.
Number 1.
Notice how just by lowering the box, we can now see the top. Interesting how the far edge of the box seems narrower than the front edge. That's called perspective. We can still only see two sides, but now we have depth. For this kind of dimension, we'll use one-point perspective. It's as simple as it sounds. One-point perspective is when all parallel lines that travel from the foreground to the background all meet up at a single point on the horizon line, or eye line. Basically, everything is flat and head-on. No corners are facing the viewer. Now let's practice and see what we can do with one-point perspective. I start by drawing the horizon line, or eye line of the viewer, and place a little dot in the center where all these lines will meet up. These are called vanishing lines, and are invisible guidelines that will direct your object to the vanishing point in the background. No matter what type of perspective you use, just remember the three parts: the vanishing point, the horizon line, and the vanishing lines. Now let's draw our shape. Objects in perspective will fit into a box or cube that lies on the vanishing lines. Simply draw a square and connect the corners to the lines going to our vanishing point. Remember, in one-point perspective, all horizontal lines will be parallel to the horizon line, and the edges will always run perpendicular or straight up and down to the horizon line. Patterns are also very easy to draw in perspective using a very simple equation. Simply draw two lines next to each other and then connect the corners with an X to find the center of this box. Draw a line from the vanishing point to the center and you'll find your new anchor point. Draw a line from the top of your first line through this anchor point to find the bottom of your new line, and repeat. This technique is helpful when drawing houses, fences, streetlights, or fancy checkerboards. The squares get closer and closer until they hit the vanishing point. Using this same X technique, we can also draw circles in perspective, or ellipses, with our own little guides. All you need to do is have the tallest and widest parts of the circle touch the center top and sides of the box. This can be tricky, so I can go into depth on ellipses in a later video. One-point perspective is a very basic but very important tool to have in your arsenal. You can easily lay out your entire background, including the ceiling and floor, using the same pattern technique. Simply drawing these receding horizontal or vertical lines will give you a huge help when deciding how things shrink as they move towards the background. Now, this is a great starting point, and there's a lot you can do with it, but we can make our dimensions pop even more by using another variation of perspective. Let's take a look at
Number 2.
Simply by rotating the box 45 degrees, the front edge now appears to be taller than the two side edges. Since the middle of the box is sitting on the horizon line, the top and the bottom edges seem to be angled slightly upward and downward. We can easily mimic this effect using the same method as our one-point perspective, with one slight variation. We add another vanishing point. Two-point perspective is just that, when the vanishing lines meet at 2 points. Notice the vertical line in the middle of the vanishing points. This is where our vanishing lines converge to make the corners of the cube. To make our cube, we'll simply draw two vertical lines on any points on the horizon lines. The most basic version of two-point perspective places the corner of the object closest to the viewer. Now just erase the lines you don't need. And just like before, you can find the center of the box by drawing an X on the side. Incidentally, you can still create your ellipses the same way. This certainly adds another level of dimension, but there is another way to really make your drawings look awesome, and that's with number. Now I've not only changed the angle of the viewer, but I've also gotten much closer for dramatic effect. It's still just a humble tissue box, but it seems more powerful. This is due to the addition of yet another vanishing point, and it's called, you guessed it, Three-Point Perspective! So now that we've got another point for our vanishing lines to retract towards, we no longer have any parallel lines on our horizon line, By adding this third vanishing point above or below the horizon line, all of our vertical lines will now have an upward or downward angle, giving your scene a skewed or fisheye kind of look. And just as you'd expect, you can still find the center of the box using the X method, and you absolutely can create these weird ellipses. Use this style of perspective to your advantage. This will certainly add that extra side of awesome sauce to the already amazing art burger with cheese that is your scene.
So there you go. Those 3 things, and you can be on your way to doing a lot more with your art. Thanks again for stopping by and checking out this video. Hopefully I'll see you soon. A lot more free time on my hands. But hopefully you're being healthy as well, and hopefully we'll see you again soon. Do give me a little like and comment. Let me know more about what you guys think, what you want to see more of. If you subscribe, I can do more of this for you. I would love to hear about that and what encourages you and what kind of perspective you use most. Do check out some of my other videos, might help as well. This one is one that YouTube recommends, things you might like based off what you just watched. This one over here is a little bit more up to date, a bit newer. A lot of interesting stuff there as well. And thanks again for stopping by, and hopefully we'll see some new stuff coming soon. Thanks again, stay creative, and I love your face. Draw.